Have you ever imagined that something so small, so ordinary, something that most people overlook every single day, could actually hold the power to change your entire life? Imagine reaching into a pocket, finding a dime. Yes, just a dime, but instead of being worth 10 cents, it carries a story, a secret, and a hidden fortune that could make you richer overnight. Friends, today we are not talking about fiction, we are talking about reality. A reality that has shaken collectors, stunned auction houses, and left even experts speechless. Welcome to True Coin Value, the only channel where every single fact you hear is faithful, trustful, and updated fresh from the market every day. If you've ever dreamed of discovering a treasure that others walk past without knowing, then stay with me, because what you are about to hear is not only shocking, it's life-changing. And in today's episode, I will reveal the top 6 ultra-rare and most valuable Roosevelt and Mercury dimes in today's auction market. These are not just coins, these are treasures sealed in metal, whispers of history, and keys to fortunes beyond imagination. By the end of this video, you will see how even a dime could be worth more than gold. And yes, I mean that literally. So let's begin this thrilling journey with our first coin. And trust me, you won't want to blink, because the deeper we go, the rarer, more mysterious, and more powerful these treasures become. Coin number 1. The year was 1946, a year that marked not just the end of a world war, but the beginning of a new chapter in American history. And right in the heart of that transition came a coin that carried more meaning than most people ever realized: the Roosevelt dime. Now, let me take you into the story. 1946 was the very first year the United States Mint honored Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only president to serve 4 consecutive terms, a man who led America through both the Great Depression and World War II. After his death in April 1945, the nation mourned, and by the very next year, the U.S. Mint decided to immortalize him on the dime. But not every dime from 1946 was ordinary. Among the millions struck, a select few stand apart, glowing like hidden gems waiting to be discovered. And one of them is right here, in front of us. This particular piece, minted in Denver, marked with that bold D mint mark, carries a charm and presence that is simply breathtaking. Look closely, and you will see it is not just a coin. Its surface, kissed by time, shows a subtle brown spot that almost tells its own story, like a signature of history etched forever in metal. Unlike many dimes that fade into anonymity, this one radiates beauty, a very pretty condition that collectors dream of but almost never encounter. But what makes it so rare? The answer lies in its birth. Denver's mint in 1946 was smaller compared to Philadelphia, and while millions were struck, very few survived in pristine or near-perfect condition. Add in the fact that this was the debut year of the Roosevelt series, the very first chapter in a coinage legacy, and suddenly you realize this is not just a dime. This is history. Collectors chase this coin not just for what it is, but for what it represents. It is the first heartbeat of a new American coin era, a link between wartime sacrifice and post-war prosperity. And when you combine that history with beauty, with uniqueness, and with sheer rarity, you get something that auction markets simply cannot ignore. And here's where the suspense reaches its peak. While most people would think it's just a dime, the reality is completely different. When this 1946 Denver Roosevelt dime, in such astonishing condition, hits the auction floor, collectors go into bidding wars. Why? Because they know what I am telling you now. This coin is a treasure chest disguised in silver. So let's break the suspense. The coin you're looking at today, the very first Roosevelt dime from 1946, carrying that D mint mark, kissed with that unique brown spot, and preserved in beautiful, pretty condition, has a current market value that is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Are you ready? This coin today commands an astonishing $175,000. Yes, you heard me right. $175,000. Think about it. A dime that could bring you the kind of fortune that changes your life forever. And the market value of this coin is not standing still. It is increasing day by day as more collectors enter the field and fewer treasures like this remain available. This is not a fantasy. This is not an exaggeration. This is the truth of today's auction market. This coin is literally a big money treasure in your pocket. For collectors, here is a tip. Never underestimate the power of condition, history, and rarity combined. Always look for the details, the mint marks, the surface, the unique features that separate a common coin from a life-changing one. The 1946 D. Roosevelt dime is proof that the right coin, in the right condition, can be a passport to fortune. And as we close this first chapter of our journey, remember, this coin is not just metal. It is memory, it is history, it is beauty, and above all, it is treasure. Treasure that proves once again why our channel True Coin Value is the most faithful, most trustful, and most exciting place for you to stay updated with the rarest finds in the world of coins. Stay with me, because the next coins on this list will shock you even more. If you thought $175,000 was mind-blowing, wait until you see what comes next. Next up. Now, as we move deeper into this treasure hunt, you might be thinking, rare coins only come from the old days, from the 1800s or early 1900s. But what if I told you that even in our modern era, even in a year as recent as 2001, a dime exists that is so rare, so mysterious, and so shockingly valuable, it has taken the collector world by storm. Yes, friends, we're not just going backward in history today, we are also uncovering the hidden treasures that hide in plain sight among coins you might see every single day. And here it is, the 2001 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark, a coin that may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but beneath the surface lies a story, a rarity, and a value that will leave you breathless. Let's step back for a moment. The year 2001, a year remembered for moments of triumph and tragedy, a turning point in the modern world. It was also a year that produced billions of circulating coins. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the proud letter P, struck countless Roosevelt dimes that were meant to be used, spent, and forgotten. And yet, among those oceans of coins, there emerged a select handful, a chosen few that stood out from the rest. And one of them is right here before us. This dime carries the P mint mark, showing its birth in Philadelphia, the oldest mint in America, a mint that has struck coins since the birth of the nation. But look closely at this 2001 dime, and you will see something unusual, something almost poetic, its brown spots. At first glance, some might dismiss it as a flaw, but to seasoned collectors, these are more than spots. They are the fingerprints of history, the marks of authenticity, the unique signs that make this coin one of a kind. And then there is the condition. Unlike many treasures that survive untouched, this one is in circulated condition. It lived a life. It passed through hands, through pockets, through stories we may never know. And yet, against all odds, it has survived, and today, its very existence in this form makes it a rarity that commands global attention. You see, rarity isn't always about age. Sometimes it is about survival. Billions may have been struck in 2001, but almost none carry the mystique, the uniqueness, and the collector demand of this specific Roosevelt dime. And when a modern coin achieves this level of scarcity, it becomes a phenomenon in the auction market. Collectors crave it not because it is old, but because it is impossible to replace. It is a coin that bridges the everyday with the extraordinary, the modern with the priceless. Imagine looking at something so recent, so familiar, yet realizing it hides a fortune most people will never believe. That's the power of this 2001 P. Roosevelt dime. And now let's break the suspense and reveal its true weight in treasure. The market has spoken, and the price is nothing short of breathtaking. This 2001 Roosevelt dime, with P mint mark, brown spots, and circulated condition, carries a current market value of $102,500. Yes, over $100,000 for a dime minted in the 21st century. Let that sink in. This is not just a coin. It is a big money treasure, a financial miracle sealed in silver and copper. The kind of find that can make an ordinary collector feel like they have discovered a hidden vault of fortune. And this is not a number pulled from thin air. This is today's truth, fresh from the auction market, faithful and trustful. The value of this coin is not slowing down. In fact, day by day, it grows like a fire that refuses to burn out. The longer you wait, the more powerful it becomes. So what can collectors learn from this? The lesson is simple but priceless. Never ignore the modern coins. Don't assume value only lives in the past. Always look closely at every dime, every detail, every mint mark, and every unique characteristic. Because hidden among the ordinary lies the extraordinary. And when you find it, you don't just have a coin, you have treasure. Next up. Now, friends, as we journey further into this list of ultra-rare treasures, let me ask you a question. What if a coin from the 1980s, a time many of us still remember, could secretly hold the kind of value that collectors fight tooth and nail for? What if, hidden in the very coins minted during the years of MTV, booming technology, and a rapidly changing America, there existed a dime that today is worth more than you could ever dream? Yes, you heard me right. Today's third treasure takes us back not to the 1800s, not to the early 1900s, but to 1985. And within that year, from the beating heart of the Philadelphia Mint, came a Roosevelt dime that looks deceptively ordinary. But in reality, it is anything but ordinary. This coin carries the proud letter P mint mark, telling us it was struck in Philadelphia, the city where American coinage was born. Billions of coins were made there in 1985, coins that people tossed in vending machines, laundromats, and payphones without a second thought. And yet, among those countless billions, one coin has emerged like a shining beacon, a treasure in disguise. The 1985 Roosevelt dime with P mint mark, bearing brown and gray spots, preserved in fine condition. Now let's talk about those features. To the casual eye, the brown and gray spots might seem like blemishes, but to serious collectors, they are signatures of uniqueness. These natural toning marks tell a story of time, of chemistry, of survival. Every single spot is like a fingerprint, impossible to duplicate, making this coin truly one of a kind. And then there's its fine condition. Not perfect, not untouched, but real. Authentic. This is a coin that lived a life, passed through history, and yet survived long enough to transform into a piece of fortune. But what makes it so rare, you may ask? Here's the secret. While billions were struck, almost none have survived in collectible-worthy condition with this combination of mint mark, toning, and preservation. It's the rarity hidden in plain sight. Collectors know that once such a dime surfaces, it is like finding a diamond in the sand. The supply is almost non-existent, and the demand is insatiable. And this is where the excitement boils over. When this 1985 P. Roosevelt dime makes its way into an auction, it doesn't just enter quietly. No, it creates a storm. Bidders rise. Voices compete. Paddles fly. Why? Because they know that this is not just a dime, it is a treasure chest, disguised in silver and copper. It is a piece of history and fortune combined, something that instantly elevates any collection into the realm of the extraordinary. So let's tear down the curtain of suspense and reveal the truth. The 1985 Roosevelt dime with P mint mark, brown and grey spots, fine condition, commands a current market value of an unbelievable $108,000. Yes, over $108,000 for a coin most people wouldn't glance at twice. But today, in the auction market, this coin is nothing less than a golden treasure. And let me tell you this, with all the trust and faithfulness my channel stands for, this value is not fiction. This is today's truth. The market is alive and the price is climbing higher day by day. If you think $108,000 is where it stops, you're wrong. This is only the beginning. This coin is a big money machine, a treasure that continues to grow more powerful with every passing day. For collectors watching, here is the tip of the day. Always pay attention to coins from the modern decades. Don't assume age automatically equals value. Look at condition, look at mint marks, look at unique spots and toning. These are the signs that separate a common pocket change coin from a life-changing treasure. And as we close the story of this extraordinary dime, let it be a reminder. Fortune doesn't always come from centuries past. Sometimes it hides in the years we least expect, waiting for the right eyes to see it. The 1985 P. Roosevelt dime is living proof that the world of coins is full of surprises, full of suspense, and full of treasures beyond imagination. Next up. Now, my friends, let me take you back more than a century to the year 1918, a time when the world was at war, when nations trembled, and when history itself was being written in fire and blood. And in the middle of that storm, in the heart of the Denver Mint, a small coin was born. A dime. But not just any dime. A dime that carried with it art, history, and a destiny so rare that today it stands as one of the most powerful treasures in American numismatics. This is the 1918 Mercury dime with the D mint mark, a coin that collectors whisper about with reverence. A coin whose very presence at an auction sends shockwaves across the room. And right here, you are about to discover why. First, let's admire its design. The Mercury dime, created by the legendary sculptor Adolphe A. Weinman, is often called one of the most beautiful coins ever struck by the United States Mint. On the obverse, you see Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought, intelligence, and the soaring spirit of America. Many mistake her for the Roman god Mercury, which is how this dime earned its famous nickname. Flip it over, and on the reverse, you will see a fasces, the bundle of rods bound with an axe, symbolizing strength and unity, surrounded by an olive branch for peace. Strength and peace, side by side. It was a masterpiece then, and it is a masterpiece now. But this 1918 dime is not just art, it is rarity incarnate. The Denver Mint, represented by the D mint mark, produced only a fraction compared to other mints. And out of that fraction, how many do you think survived a century, still retaining a beautiful look and very fine condition? Almost none. Each survivor is a miracle, a relic that defied time, wear, and history. Now imagine the world this coin lived through. Minted in the final year of World War I, a time when America's soldiers were fighting across the oceans, when victory was uncertain, when every day felt like history unfolding. This dime wasn't just money, it was a silent witness. It changed hands in shops, in homes, in pockets, maybe even with soldiers' families. And somehow, 100 years later, it has emerged with a glow, a beautiful look that takes your breath away, and a very fine condition that makes collectors chase it with unrelenting passion. But here's the truth that shocks the world of coin collecting. The 1918 Mercury dime is so rare, so valuable, and so desperately sought after that when it surfaces, the auction floors ignite like a battlefield. Collectors don't whisper here, they roar. They fight. They bid like warriors, because they know what I am telling you right now. This coin is not just silver, it is a treasure chest in your hand. And now the moment you have been waiting for the revelation of its true value today. The 1918 Mercury dime, with D mint mark, beautiful look, very fine condition, commands a current market value of a staggering $199,000. Yes, $199,000. This is not an estimate, not a dream, not fiction. This is reality, faithful and fresh from the auction market. Think about it. A dime struck over a century ago, now standing as a nearly $200,000 treasure. And let me tell you, this is not the end of its climb. The value of this coin increases day by day as more collectors recognize its scarcity and more of these historic dimes vanish into private collections, never to return. What you are looking at is not just a coin. It is a big treasure vault that grows more powerful with time. For collectors, here's your golden advice. Always respect the Mercury dime series. They are masterpieces of art, symbols of strength, and carriers of immense value. Pay close attention to mint marks, especially the Denver issues, because rarity hides in those tiny details. And never underestimate condition. Even in very fine preservation, as we see here, the demand is overwhelming. So as we close the chapter of this 1918 Mercury dime, let its story echo in your mind. This is more than silver. This is more than a dime. This is a piece of America's soul, a symbol of endurance, and a treasure worth nearly $200,000. Next up, as our journey continues, let's step into the heart of one of the most defining chapters of the 20th century, World War II. It was 1944. The world was locked in struggle. Millions of lives were changing forever, and every single piece of metal struck by the United States. Mint carried more meaning than just its face value. And in this year, in the Denver Mint, there was created a dime so breathtaking, so powerful, and so scarce that today it is nothing less than a hidden vault of fortune. This is the 1944 Mercury dime with the D mint mark, a coin whose story is every bit as thrilling as the battles being fought across the oceans at that very time. Now, pause with me and look at its design. The Mercury dime, sculpted by Adolf A. Weinman, is considered by many to be America's greatest coin design. Liberty, with her winged cap, is a vision of freedom, of thought unchained, of America rising above adversity. The reverse, with the fasces and olive branch, reminds us of the balance between strength and peace, a perfect message for a nation fighting to restore freedom around the world. But this particular dime is not just another Mercury piece. The D mint mark tells us it was struck in the Denver Mint, and Denver's wartime issues are among the most coveted by collectors. Not every coin survived the chaos of the 1940s, and even fewer made it through the decades with beauty intact. This coin, with its brown layers formed naturally over time, is like a painting on silver, unique, rich with character, and impossible to replicate. Its very good condition is remarkable, considering the era it came from. Think about it. This coin lived through a world war, through decades of circulation, through the stories of ordinary Americans who carried it in their pockets during extraordinary times. And yet, it has survived, not worn into nothingness, but preserved enough to shine as a true rarity today. And here's the part that makes this coin legendary. The combination of wartime history, Denver rarity, natural brown layers, and collector demand has turned the 1944 Mercury dime into one of the most valuable treasures of its series. Every time one of these coins appears at auction, it sparks battles fiercer than you can imagine. Collectors know its power. They know its scarcity. They know its worth. And now, I reveal to you its true market value today. The 1944 Mercury dime with D mint mark, brown layers, very good condition, commands a staggering $166,500 in today's auction market. That's right, more than $166,000 for a coin struck during the final full year of World War II. Let that sink in. This isn't just a dime. It is a big money treasure, a vault of fortune disguised as silver, a relic that could change a collector's destiny in an instant. And here's the faithful truth. This value is not standing still. Day by day, as demand rises and fewer of these coins remain available, the market continues to climb. The 1944 Mercury dime is not just valuable, it is alive, growing stronger with time. So what lesson does this coin teach collectors? Simple yet powerful. Always seek out history combined with rarity. The Mercury dimes of the war years are among the most symbolic and most treasured coins ever struck by the United States Mint. And when you find one in condition as rare and beautiful as this, you are not just holding metal. You are holding the spirit of an era, the memory of a war, and the wealth of a treasure chest. As we close this story, remember, this 1944 Mercury dime is not just silver. It is strength. It is survival. It is treasure. And it stands as proof that in the world of coins, miracles are real and fortunes are hidden in the places you least expect. And friends, this is why True Coin Value exists, to bring you the truth, fresh and faithful, every single day. Stay tuned, because the final coin on this list may just be the most shocking of them all. Next up. And now, my friends, we arrive at the final chapter of today's treasure hunt. If you've stayed with me so far, you've witnessed history, you've felt the suspense, and you've seen how even the smallest of coins can carry fortunes beyond belief. But what comes next is the crown jewel of this journey. A coin so extraordinary, so breathtaking, and so full of history that it doesn't just close this list, it seals it with fire. Let me take you back once again to the year 1944. The world was in its darkest hour. The Second World War raged on, and America stood as the arsenal of democracy, producing not only weapons and supplies, but also coins that carried the heartbeat of a nation at war. And within that year, the Denver Mint produced a Mercury dime that has now become a legend. The 1944 Mercury dime with D mint mark, brown dots, and a look so beautiful it almost shines like art itself. Look at this coin and you see more than silver. You see a story. You see liberty herself, crowned with wings of freedom, standing tall against the storms of war. On the reverse, you see the fasces, symbol of unity and strength, paired with the olive branch of peace, reminding the world what America was fighting for. This wasn't just a design. It was a message to every man, woman, and child. Strength and peace together would carry the nation through. Now, this particular coin is extraordinary for reasons that go far beyond design. The brown dots that mark its surface are not flaws. They are whispers of time, natural tones that make the coin unique. No two Mercury dimes wear these same spots. In the same way, this one has a beautiful look, a kind of charm that collectors crave because it tells them this coin is alive. It has lived. It has survived. And then there is the condition. For a coin minted in the middle of a world war to emerge in such very nice condition is a miracle. Think about how many coins from that era were used, worn, and eventually melted down. Yet here, this dime remains bright, bold, and ready to shock the auction world. And shock it does. Because when this 1944D Mercury dime appears at an auction, it does not whisper. It thunders. Collectors leap at the chance to own it. Bids rise like waves in a storm. Voices tremble. And the reason is clear. This is not just a coin. It is a treasure vault sealed in silver, a one-of-a-kind relic that bridges history, beauty, and immense financial power. So let's unveil the truth. The 1944 Mercury dime, with D-mint mark, brown dots, beautiful look, and very nice condition, holds a current market value of an unbelievable $162,000. Yes, $162,000 for a single dime. Not a myth. Not a story. This is today's faithful truth from the auction market. And let me tell you something powerful. This price is not the ceiling. It is the floor. Every day, as more collectors chase after these wartime treasures, the value continues to rise. What is worth $162,000 today may very well be worth much more tomorrow. This coin is a big treasure chest. One that only grows heavier with fortune as time goes on. Collectors, listen closely. The lesson here is timeless. Pay attention to the Mercury dimes of the war years. They are not only masterpieces of design, they are also among the rarest survivors of history. When you see one with condition, with character, with unique marks of time, like these brown dots, you are not just holding silver. You are holding history. You are holding treasure. And so, as we close the story of this sixth and final coin, let us remember what today's journey has revealed. From Roosevelt to Mercury, from 1946 to 2001, every single coin we've seen is more than money. They are vaults of fortune, sealed pieces of history, treasures that make collectors' hearts race and auction houses roar. And friends, this is what true coin value is all about. Trustful, faithful, updated daily, a place where you will always find the real truth behind the rarest treasures in the world of coins. So stay tuned, because this is only the beginning. More treasures are waiting, more stories are yet to be told, and one of them could be sitting right in your very pocket.